Long before influencers, waist trainers, and shock value fashion, there was Polaire, a woman who turned herself into a living spectacle long before the world was ready for her. Born Emilie Marie Bouchot, she rose from poverty to become one of the most talked about performers of the Belle Epoque, which is French for the beautiful era. With a razor-sharp wit, a 16-inch waist that defied anatomy, and a pet pig she treated like a lapdog, Polaire blurred the line between elegance and absurdity. She wasn't just famous, she was unforgettable. The kind of woman who could walk into a room and make people wonder, is she a genius or completely mad? Find out more about her in this video. Emilie Marie Bouchot, better known by her stage name Polaire, was born on May 14, 1874 in Algiers, back when Algiers was a part of French Algeria and long before people started booking flights there to find themselves. She would grow up to become one of the most eccentric, glamorous, and eyebrow-raising performers of the Belle Epoque. Polaire's early years were anything but glamorous. She grew up in a large family. Her memoirs say that she was one of 11 children, though only 4 survived infancy. Her family struggled financially after the death of her father, who died of typhoid. So teenage Emilie was sent to Paris to live with relatives and hopefully earn money. Paris, with its music halls, gaslights, and artistic chaos, was the perfect place for a future diva to emerge, and Polaire wasted no time. She began singing in cafes and cabarets, eventually catching the attention of managers who realized that she wasn't just talented, she was unforgettable. Her stage name Polaire means polar, a reference either to her pale complexion or, as some joke, the fact that she could freeze a man in place just by walking into a room. She began as a cafe concert singer in the early 1890s and quickly built up a reputation for theatrical flair and bold appearance. She had a strong husky voice, expressive eyes, and a magnetic stage presence, but the public really fixated on 2 things: her insane 16-inch waist and her wild, exotic style. Polaire didn't just tight-lace, she practically declared a war on her ribs. Her corsets pulled her waist into a staggering hourglass figure, contrast to her naturally full bust and hips. She looked like a cartoon drawn by someone who hadn't studied human anatomy but was very enthusiastic about shapes. But Polaire didn't stop there. Fashion was her playground. She wore her hair cropped short decades before flappers and bob cuts became fashionable. A brunette, she wore unusually heavy eye makeup, deliberately evocative of the Arab world. She strutted around in enormous fur coats, piles of jewelry, feather bows, and occasionally, just to keep things interesting, a pet pig named Mimi. She sometimes walked a pig on a leash instead of a dog, because why be normal when you can be unforgettable? If Instagram had existed in 1900s, Mimi the pig would have had her own verified account. Polaire became a star of Parisian music halls such as the Folies Bergère and the Théâtre des Bouffes Parisiens, and later took her talent international. In the early 1900s, she toured Europe, the United States, and South America, performing songs, acting in plays, and leaving audiences both amazed and slightly confused. American newspapers described her as bizarre but fascinating, which is exactly the phrase most people use after meeting a cat that can open doors. Polaire was also an actress in early silent films, and her expressive face worked well for exaggerated cinema, though her tiny waist sometimes upstaged her acting. In fact, publicity for her 1910 US tour basically turned into a national waist measuring event. Reporters lined up, tape measures in hand, ready to confirm the rumor that her waist was roughly the size of a baguette. Despite her showy appearance, Polaire was known to be intelligent, witty, and fiercely independent. She handled fame with a combination of humor and self-awareness. When critics mocked her corseted figure, she responded, "They talk about my waist so much that I sometimes forget I can sing." She understood publicity long before influencers figured out how to stage a candid mirror selfie. Her life after the First World War was quieter. Tastes changed, corsets loosened, and dramatic stage personalities gave way to jazz-era modernity. Polaire continued acting and performing but never achieved the same level of stardom as in her youth. She lived comfortably though, not extravagantly, and eventually retired from the stage. She died in Paris on October 11, 1939, the same city where she had once ruled the cabarets like a glitter-covered whirlwind. Today, Polaire is remembered as a fashion icon, a pioneer of body modification trends, and a performer who turned herself into a living spectacle long before Lady Gaga ever put on a meat dress. Her wasp waist became both a personal signature and a spectacle, showing how the era valued extreme silhouettes and how a performer could use that for fame. She was bold, funny, theatrical, and unapologetically strange, the kind of person who didn't just push boundaries, she looked at them, laughed, and walked past them with a pig in a rhinestone collar. Polaire didn't merely perform, she performed live. Thank you for watching the video. If you found the video interesting, please hit the like button and consider subscribing for more such content.